just by being there.
When she was in the 6th grade at the primary school, she came home. That's when she first got interested in politics. And she came home and we made a rule that we all sat around the table, no television. Well, we had our dinner and everybody spoke out and said, you know, what they like. And she was telling us all about the apartheid. And it was the first time I had ever heard about it because I'd never taken any interest in politics. So she was really interested in it and right from the start. Well, we've opened the paper and there's Liz's photo protesting against something like the Anzac, like down at Anzac, protesting against war.
Yeah.
Well, my sister was really upset at that because my father and brother were in the Second World War.
It was the group she was in.
Yeah.
Was around an anti-rape group, protesting around the fact in war women are raped, and it's seen as I don't know, still seen, but it was certainly seen in those days. Well, you know, that was boys be boys. You know, if they're soldiers, you know, they've got natural urges. You know, that's all right, sort of thing. And they were protesting around the fact that, you know, the women were like collateral in war. So they did a protest down there on the Anzac Day outside the shrine. I think particularly during the 80s, although she, you know, she had a grown feminism, so a lot of the work that she did in those days was through disability rights. But I think she found, as a lot of people find, that quite often in those days feminism could be not as inclusive as what you would like it to be. It might be middle class feminism rather than feminism for working class women or for migrant women or for women with disabilities. And I think that's one of the things that Les seemed to extend into those areas.
We were such a conservative family. My husband's parents, my sister and her family. They thought it was terrible that she had done this. Open the paper and there's Lesley's photo. I heard of anything in our lives like it, and I was getting it from all angles.
There was two elements to it. There was the anti-beauty quest side of it, then there was the disability part of that as well, where you know, with disabilities and even, you know, blokes with disabilities. The image of very lovely women needing to represent you to get funds was a bit of an anomaly in society. I mean, you couldn't strive to the idea that the perfect person was the most beautiful person was not sort of something that ordinary people ascribe to. Now, you just want to live an ordinary life, you know, do as much as you can for yourself. But when the public see all these beautiful people raising money for you, they get the image that you need to be looked after, which, you know, Spastic Society actually put forward. You know, we need your money to look after these poor, tragic people. So it was very much, you know, a challenge in that aspect. This creates an image in the community that when we go for a job, we can't employ you because you need to be looked after. No, I want to be a Prime Minister of Australia. No, you need to be looked after. So the whole movement was against that sort of charitable presentation of, you know, around the image of people with disabilities. But the PR department have got a very set idea about how you raise money. People that are doing it for are saying, well, if you're going to raise money for our services, we want it in a dignified way that portrays us as adults who live in the community, who have equal rights with everybody else.
There's been plenty of protests against, you know, beauty contests and stuff from feminist kind of perspectives, you know, but very rarely is ever a protest against a beauty statement because of a disability issue. You know, the fact that sort of that these people are kind of perfect human beings, you know, the perfect model walking across, you know, no limp, no nothing.
And is that why you think she's used SS?
Yeah.
As in, like a Nazi.
Yeah.
There's this kind of equation that happens like this all the time, like ethnics, are allowed to be sexist because we don't want to be racists. And so this is the kind of thing that happens with that you don't mind if we're sexist because what we're trying to do is raise money for the disabled. No one could conceive that anyone would be able to protest. So that was the amazing nexus that she broke through. She was able to say, no, that is not enough. That is not good enough, And she broke that nexus. And once she broke that, the import of what she'd done had literally started the dynamite, I think,
Lesley organised really the best writers' festival that a council has organised that I've ever seen. And that was the Darebin Writers' Festival, and she had it at the Bell Centre here. She had bilingual poetry. She had poetry being read by some of our friends who happened to be here from the project from Bangkok that we were working on with Lesley in Bangkok. So there were poems being read simultaneously in Portuguese, Japanese, English,
Italian,
some Greek, Italian, and I'm sure there might have been some. German.
Japanese.
Yeah, and Japanese. Like the one poem had the voices in those different languages. Yeah. So we've never seen anything like that. So she had great understanding across all types of so-called disability, because people from different cultural backgrounds often can't get a voice.
She was actually interested in sort of, Aboriginal rights and arts and that kind of stuff in Darebin, in this area itself, And she was involved with Warlpiri women too, of course. And they would, she would say, just incredible. The Warlpiri women would be coming down from north, they were going to put on an exhibition, or Lesley would host an exhibition of their work, either at the Wesleyan Church
Gallery,
or else she would, help them with whatever other projects they were doing, because they were also doing singing and dances. She also had a remarkable ability to know someone else's poetics or their art, to actually recognise their art, that it's not some kind of hobby or just a big noting exercise. She would actually recognise someone's art and say, you need to express yourself, you need to be able to do these things and take them seriously. She had a desire to be a writer. And that was, a real kind of burning passion of hers. I was running a magazine, I'm still running a magazine called Unusual Work. And we published about 2 or 3 poems after I heard her perform. I said, look, they're good, I said, they're really, really good, because she had such a world vision about writing and what was good and what was not. Her writing is so crystal clear, which is so rare for a young writer, so to speak.
And she really connected with people and listened to people. A lot of people, they don't even have any real connection with people, whereas Lesley, she always took the time to really see the people she was talking to and to find out about them.
I wrote a poem which I sent her about Felix Meyer in 1896. And I sent her that, and she really loved it. And I said to her, it's amazing, I'm starting to find all these little portraits of people in Melbourne, from the 1800s and all that. And I said, I think you're influencing me as a writer. And she said, just by being there makes you see. So just her presence opened our eyes. So she would go to these places, she would be in those spaces, she would go to the gig, she would, be supportive or otherwise, and without even saying anything, made us see, which is quite an extraordinary thing to say, really, But she had that effect on me, if no one else,
Arts Access Victoria made an award in Lesley's name because she's chaired there for 2 or 3 years, and she got them to change from sort of a service provider mentality around doing access to arts to more of advocacy functions where people could use it as a statement of advocacy around disability.
Sad thing now is it's all happening again with all the beauty contests and the little girls all dressed up. So it needs Les to come back and do it again.
Lesley was fierce. She was fiercely independent. She had a fierce intelligence. She was fierce in defending her beliefs. In early days when she used sticks, she could wield them with fierce accuracy. She was fiercely political. She was fiercely and unromantically working class. She was a fierce advocate for the rights of all disenfranchised people. She was fierce. We will miss you terribly, Lesley. The world does not feel as good a place without you. Patricia Cornelius, playwright and close friend. Lesley Hall posthumously won the 2013 Prime Minister's Award for Outstanding Achievement. The Award for Lifetime Achievement in Disability has since been renamed to the Lesley Hall Award for the Lifetime Achievement in Disability. Just Been There by Brenda Lacey, a part of the Dangerous Deeds project. Thank you June Hall Bentic, Frank Hall Bentic, Sandy Caldo, P.O. Heidi Peart. Editor Zheng. Project Partners, Diversity and Disability. Start Community Art, Saru Self-Advocacy Resource Unit, Creative Victoria, Australian Council for the Arts. Because I knew you, I've been changed for good.